We still do 7 NUFC Matters show a week for free. But if you want to help support NUFC Matters, then there are a few ways of doing it. Hit the like button on each live broadcast and video. This helps the channel grow. Hit the subscribe button and select the all notifications bell so you don't miss a single show. If you want to help us financially, then you can join the channel using this button with the membership starting at $1.99 a month. Or you can drop us a donation in the chat using a super sticker. We're also looking for sponsors. If you'd like your brand advertised on the flyers for the show and featured during the ad break, then email John at nufcmatters.com to arrange today.
Hush now, city kids, gather round for other myths. Hush now, city kids. When it came to me after so long, I didn't have no choices in the streets where I was from. When I think about the pain, I didn't have no choices, I took what I had sworn. Hush now, city kids, gather round for urban myths. Hush now, city kids. But you know, the wouldn't let you have it any other way.
Good evening and welcome to NUFC Matters. It is the Fans Forum with me, Steve Wraith. Delighted to say I'm joined by George, Darren, Barry, Kevin, Ian, Pablo and Spenny Mag. And as SJP Dave, no, it was Gary in the chat, said, we had a good omen yesterday. Best start since 95-96. The same season we had this away top, the one that Barry is wearing tonight. So, yes, a wonderful win. 3 points in the bag. Newcastle sitting third. And by next weekend, George, Newcastle United, if they go to Fulham and win, they'll be sitting top of the Premier League next week because Man City and Arsenal don't play till Sunday. And of course, if Man City and Arsenal draw next Sunday, George, Newcastle could then extend the lead when they beat Man City the week after. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's look at the game yesterday. Wolverhampton Wanderers at Molineux. I was there myself yesterday. I'm happy to give an opinion, as I often do. I usually stick mine out on Twitter after I've been at the game. I was completely slated for my opinion yesterday. Does it bother us? No, not at all. It's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. There was pluses and negatives. The midfield for me completely underperformed. Didn't play to the best of their abilities at all. You don't need to pick an individual out for me. I think as a collective, it just didn't work. It left Isaac isolated up front. But that first 20 minutes, Newcastle United played some really good stuff. Dare I say, probably some of the best football they've played all season. After that, though, things seemed to go a little bit pear-shaped. You could pick out individuals. You could say that there was one or two people maybe not pulling the weight. I still think that the captaincy's weighing heavily on Bruno. I don't know whether that suits him. I'm certainly not seeing a captain cajoling the troops on the pitch and telling people, we'll get their heads up when we go a goal down. But he's doing something right. The team seem to be happy to for this situation to continue. And we found answers because Eddie Howe got his team substitutions right. And of course, those substitutions changed the game. He identified the players who weren't performing, could have taken a few more off. It has to be said. I only gave Lewis Hall and potentially Dan Burn any credit in the first half after that first 20 minutes for doing their job. Nick Pope as well, doing his job. Kicking not great, we know that. But as a shot stopper, I think Nick Pope is earning his wages week after week. Certainly better than what we had in goal last year for me with Nick Pope missing. But the changes definitely had an effect. Didn't have an immediate effect. Took a little bit of time, but we got there in the end. And two great goals. Obviously, a wicked deflection for Fabian Schär. And then a goal for Harvey Barnes, who I think a lot of people feel probably should start now. Wonderful goal. Textbook from Harvey Barnes to give us a 2-1 win. Should have been 3-1. Should have been a penman. Tonali should have really secured the points, giving us a little bit of gloss on an average performance. But again, not playing well, getting a win away from home, which is something we weren't doing on a regular basis. We can look at players. We can probably say X, Y, and Z's not working. That's up to Eddie Howe to change. We can't do anything about it, but we can have an opinion about it. I'm going to say that I'll stick by what I thought yesterday. I thought Lewis Hall probably had his best game in a black and white shirt. I understand where people are saying they felt his passing isn't great. He passes the ball, inside. Maybe he's getting told to do that. I think he probably wants to do something completely different. But Eddie Howe will have a game plan, and he will be telling him what to do. I think Hall probably doesn't shine because of what's in front of him. I don't think Gordon's got off to a great start of the season. And I think Eddie Howe's got the biggest decisions to make next week when he picks that team. He's got to start Tonali. Tonali's on fire. He doesn't need a rest. He's been resting for 10 months. Give him a game next week. Start him next week in a big game. He's got to make a decision what he's going to do up front as well. Is the best option, somebody asked me today on Twitter, is the best option when Isaac goes off to leave Asula on the bench and play Anthony Gordon? We've got a striker. We signed one in the summer. Why didn't Asula get a run out yesterday? Bizarre. But yeah, lots of questions, but Howe has to answer them. And he's got some big decisions next week because some of his key players are letting him down. We know that Murphy isn't going to be part of the team next season or the season after. We know that the likes of Sean Longstaff are probably on a short rein and won't be here next season or the season after. But we've got to put up with them. They're part of the squad at the moment. So for me, it's another 3 points in the bag, George. I know I've gone on a little bit longer than I normally do, but I was pleased. Not overall pleased with the performance, but pleased with the 3 points. And we've just got to be happy. We've got to be happy that we're getting performances, we're getting points in the bag when we're not playing particularly well. What do you sitting at home, George, watching on the TV? Because it's a completely different thing for you.
Well, not that different. And the only thing that irritates me is the commentators and the so-called pundits. Their view of it drive me dotty. Particularly Carragher. If he ever says something nice about Newcastle, I think he'll choke. He's worried he'll choke. Absolutely disgraceful, the commentary. But never mind, that aside, the football. We've got a script, haven't we? It's the same script for all our games. First 15, 20 minutes, it's us. And we could if we took a lead in those first 15 minutes, I think we'd sail the game. But then after that, we seem to go backwards. First 10 minutes of the second half were not much better. Then suddenly, when the substitutes get that breath, we take the game on again. It's almost a script, and it puzzles me why that's the case. The important thing about the whole game, though, and the whole team is that they're still playing for each other. There's no question about that. I mean, if we weren't, we wouldn't win those games. I mean, that game yesterday. It's not too long ago that once you went a goal down, that would have been it for us. We would have struggled. The pluses, well, I think a lot of us were arguing about who should be left back on Saturday. Well, the right person was left back for me. He's got the shirt and he did his darndest to show that it's his shirt. And barring one or two minor issues, you could say. He was. I agree with you, Steve. He was my man of the match as well. So there are lots of issues. The other thing the issue about our goals, the pundits and the fact that if there hadn't been the deflection, Shah's goal shot would have been an easy take for the keeper. Who are they kidding? It was like a bloody bullet. No, it wouldn't have been an easy take for any keeper, wherever it was. So it wasn't a dead ringer that it wouldn't have been a goal if it hadn't took the deflection. The deflection helped, obviously. Just as they were criticising Harvey Barnes, because he comes in and he lets loose a smasher off the left, but on his right foot, and demonstrates what it irritates me about Miggy. Is that Harvey Barnes is two-footed player. No matter what side he plays on, he's dangerous. So there were some real positives, but the passages of play in the game, and again, I agree with you, where Bruno was the worst man on the pitch, followed closely by Joe Linton, and then shortly afterwards, Sean Longstaff. There was a huge gap for a while where none of them were on song, really. But sad to say, I think that was probably one of Bruno's worst games in the black and white shirt for me. And Joe Linton not far behind. So whatever's bothering those two, Howe needs to get to the bottom of, because it's not looking very good at the minute. I'm beginning to wonder myself, and I think somebody said it before, is whether or not the captaincy is starting to weigh too heavy on Bruno.
George, you may know a little bit more than me, but just from watching it on the TV. Bear in mind, I watched it live. I'm watching it at one angle, and I only get one look at it when I'm at the game. But from my perspective, maybe Wolves deserve maybe a little bit of credit, for the way that they set up and try to nullify Bruno. And Bruno's obviously going to be targeted by Wolves. That's obviously he's our key player. He's a captain. Maybe the booking had something to do with it as well. Joe Linton got booked quite. He got booked, and again, it just sets you back. It changes the dimensions. Maybe changes Eddie Howe's thoughts on substitutes as well.
Well, maybe, but he still didn't look right. It's still, and yes, I'd say that the sense that people talk about, he gets excited when we get throws in, he tries to wind the crowd up. But for me is what he's trying to do with the players when we're a goal down. I didn't see any evidence that he was doing anything on the pitch to gee the players up to get them back in the game, and that was quite disappointing. Gordon in flashes was good early on, and then a bit later on he could easily have had a goal with a little bit of luck, but still a dangerous bloke to have on the pitch. Agree with you, a nonsense to have a centre forward on the bench, and all right, he's only an under 21 international, but he's still had experience of first team football. Surely, someone who's used to playing in that position would have been better than bringing your star winger off the side and playing up the middle. So I agree with you. I think that's questions that Eddie has to answer. Why put him on the bench if you're not going to use him when the opportunity arises? So it's like repeating ourselves game after game. A great start. Then the middle of the game were absolutely awful, and then once we get into the lead, we're coasting it. It's just like a script, and they need to do some thinking about this, because it doesn't look none of it looks very good as a spectator, whether you're at the ground or whether you're at home. In fact, it's very, very frustrating, I can assure you. There are other people who, I mean, I hate to say it, but today I'm going to agree with the man next to us, Darren, and wondered why Murphy was on Saturday, to be honest, because I give him credit for the good things he does, but I was struggling to find anything good about him on Saturday, to be honest, and why he wasn't changed much earlier than he was. It's puzzling. So, and the substitutes changed the game. They've got to keep Joe Willock and Cotton Wool if they can, keep him fit, because there's no question about it that when he's on song, his extra bit of pace and skill and football nous, his ability to do things the others can't do, even Bruno, I have to say, he's a dangerous player and turned the match on its head. Tonali was good, but missed the one opportunity he could have had. It could have been a real hero if he'd killed the game off. But Joe Willock is something else when he's on song, and we need to keep him in cotton wool while we've got him. But 3 points, even though we're still saying to ourselves we're not playing well. Irritants on TV about, as I say, the commentators struggling, choking themselves to say something nice about Newcastle United. For once, Jamie Redknapp did, and he criticised the bad comments of Carragher and Dean Dublin about the goals, which were such trivial, ridiculous comments for professionals to make. But at least Jamie Radnor had a comeback. And the Wolves manager, who more than 5 times during his interview said he wasn't going to whinge about this. And what did he do? He spent the whole bloody interview whinging about how unlucky he was. And he wasn't going to whinge about it, but he did the whole interview. But for a Newcastle fan, 3 points away from home, and we haven't played well yet. My God, wait till we do play well. I'm convinced that when we do click, somebody will get a hiding. Let's hope it's Fulham next week and we sit top of the league. That would be amazing. It would amaze a lot of people. Well, the other thing is that after the Arsenal match, they were going on and on about the fact that isn't it wonderful what Arsenal have done this, that, and the other, and they've only let in 4 goals. Hold on, Newcastle's only let in 3. You know why is it so wonderful that Arsenal only let in 4? So anyway, enough about pundits. 3 points, some good things, too many poor things for me. And Eddie Howe's got to try and sort that out. There's got to be a reason. Yes, I agree with that, Alan McKenzie. The Gordon hitting the post was unlucky, but that's how it goes. So yeah, 3 points, not playing well. Well, I can live with that. But there's some sorting out to do.
Okay, cheers, George. Darren, you were down at the game, same as me yesterday. I heard you speaking briefly before we came on air. I know you're not too happy with certain players, so give us your view and version of events from Molineux yesterday.
Well, I'll be positive first. 4 games in, 10 points, 30 points off relegation, so that's the positive thing.
Brilliant. Classic.
And the first 20 minutes we played well.
Right, thanks, Darren. Moving on to Barry.
Yeah. Okay.
Go on, Darren. Go on.
Straight into negativity. Joe Linton needs to be dropped because he looks unfit or he's not playing well. He's not playing well. Drop him. Longstaff, Byrne, and Murphy. Get rid of them. Murphy, he needs a manual what to do with every game. Dan Byrne, he's not good enough. I'm sorry, he can't cut the mustard. Drop him. Play the kid who got from Bournemouth. Get him in the team now. Gordon doesn't look right. He's not playing well at the minute. And Isaac kind of a nose, however, man. Crack on, son. Play on. You're getting paid 60, what's 100 grand a week? However, man, I play for broken toes and all that, man. Play the game. No wrong with you. Like Shaw, good cracking goal. Lewis Hall, you done all right, Steve. Yes, he'd come miss passes, but he didn't play that bad. Man of the match for me was Joe Willock when he come on the pitch because he changed the game. And tonight he done well, but Joe Willock after just custom. He's just got a more direct pace what we need in the midfield. He works his socks off. And Eddie Howe, you've got to give Eddie Howe because he made 3 changes. He does that. Eddie Howe make 3 big changes at half time, change the game. It took away the kick in, but once it worked, we're doing all right. Nick Pope did a good save at the end. They could have made it 2-1. 2-2, sorry. But we need it's something not right in the camp. They look like Wolves' first goal. Yes, you can accept losing the ball on the edge of the box. But Bruno was jogging back, not sprinting back, jogging. And Dan Byrne, just tackle a man, son. Get the tackle, kick to the play, and you get megged by the chronicle when you're there. You know what I mean? And they score a good goal, a good dummy. The player should get assist for it. But that's the big wins of the way, Steve. 2-1, so 1.
Well, it wasn't as bad as I was expecting. I've got to be perfectly honest. Barry, give us your views on Newcastle United's win at Molineux yesterday.
It's one of those ones, isn't it? It's a great game for the non-supporters of Newcastle and Wolves to watch. It was end-to-end at times. Wolves gave it a good go. I thought they had some really good moves in amongst their team, like you say, the midfield. A couple of their midfielders and the guy in front looked really good.
Does that when we keep passing them the ball, doesn't it?
Well, the two Brazilians had moments as well on their team. It's a shame our two didn't have moments because I thought they were both off their game. Whatever it is that's Bruno, I totally agree with Darren. I think just he doesn't look right, whether it's fitness. He doesn't seem to be. There's something not right. I mean, for me, Tonali looks like George said. He looks on fire. I think if anything, Howe needs to think about starting Tonali and maybe bringing Bruno on as an impact sub. Try it the other way around. Give him a change. See if it makes any difference. Totally agree with Steve. I thought Lewis Hall had probably his best game in the team. I felt sorry for Byrne because he did get skinned for speed, but other than that, he didn't have that bad a game. I think
when you're watching,
he didn't. I mean, the chances that Wolves had, you kind of put the mark
lost.
down to Byrne.
He looked lost. He passed. He went to block the ball. Passed the ball to them. They should have scored. Make it 2-0 the first half. And he looks lost in the mid. I don't know. Not for me, really.
I mean, at the minute, they haven't really got a choice. I was over the moon to see Shaw back. I totally agree with George. I think Shaw's shot that hit their defender was Gannon anyway. I don't care what anybody says. I don't think the keeper would have gotten anywhere near it. I was over the moon for Harvey Barnes because I thought that was absolutely superb. There's a guy on YouTube linked it together with Ginola's, one of Ginola's wearing this shirt that's not too far different. Yeah. And you just think, the guy looked absolutely class. I think Howe got the sub spot on. I thought Trippier looked sound when he came on. He helped shore the defence up. He got them organised again. So for me, that's the big question. Is he going to chance playing Trips on one side, Hall on the other, or Trips and Tino, and then find a way of getting Barnes and Gordon on the same pitch? Because I think it would just... I agree with Darren. I mean, I usually stand up for Murphy, but I thought it was one of Murphy's poorest games. I don't think he did a great deal. I think he struggled. But like you said before, Steve, it's another win under the belt. It's 4 games. It's 10 points. You know, could we have asked for any more before the start of the season? I don't think we could. And I think George is spot on. I think at some stage, somebody's going to get absolutely hammered because we're going to hit form and the likes of Bruno's going to be on form and we're going to destroy somebody. You hope that we can level out a bit because I feel at the minute, like George said, we're having 20, 25-minute spells and then we're disappearing for a bit and then we're having to do something drastic to try and pull it round. But faith in Eddie that he's going to be able to sort that out. I do have to say I loved Sir Les' comments about the director of football role. I thought he was...
What did he say, Barry? Because I missed that. I was speaking to Joe Allen about that today, who will be starting his show tomorrow night on here at 6 o'clock. But he was saying that he was really impressed with what Sir Les had to say and explained it, because he's obviously done the role of Queen's Park Ranger.
He was talking about the Mitchell and the decisions that have been and the comments that have been made about the signings and stuff. And Les's comments, Steve, were that at the end of the day, when he was at QPR, the manager targeted players for the first team. He came up with a list of players he wanted to sign, passed it over to the director of football or the scouts. They went after them. The director of football's job for Les was to target under 23s, under 18 players that could develop and build on. But it was very much the manager chose the first team players. And he said that's what managers need to do. That's the huge part of their role. And I just thought it was so insightful to see it. And I was thinking, I wish we'd gotten Les as our director of football. I know he probably hasn't got the experience PIF was looking for because obviously QPR weren't that high up the table. But he knows the team inside out. He knows the fans. He knows what we expect from people. And he just, anybody who gets a chance to watch it, he made so much sense, Steve. I thought, I hope Mitchell watched it. But
it's interesting that, I mean, there's no way of us watching. I'm sure somebody might have put it up on YouTube. So I think
it is on YouTube. It's like the interview because there was a bit with Redknapp as well, which, to be honest, in the bit with Redknapp, he was quite complimentary as well. The bit I saw.
Is it true that during the commentary when Shaw was pushing forward just before he took the shot, Carragher was saying that the centre half shouldn't go forward and hit the ball? Shouldn't be venturing forward.
Yeah.
Someone just put in the chat as well. Go on.
At least Redknapp did say that you shouldn't let somebody who, like Shaw, who's got a shot like he's got, get that close to your goal, and bang, it was in the back of the bloody net.
Brilliant stuff. All right. Yes. Sorry, I thought Burn was awful. He's far too handsy. Going to get sent off if he keeps doing it. His second touch is a tackle. Bill Burnett says Tonali needs to start every game. Got to give a bit of credit to the Wolves centre forwards. What I was saying before, Arthur, sometimes we'll come on here and we can give an opinion on our players, but sometimes you do have to give credit to other teams. You've got to remember we're playing away from home yesterday at a place where we tend to get a draw or get beat. And the team had got in front, and they could have got a second. And Newcastle are still getting points and not playing to the best of their game. And I love the fact that the chat's taken on George's word shellac, and most people feel there's a shellacking round the corner for somebody at some point. Kev, good evening, mate. Good afternoon to you. The results all that matters at the end of the day, mate. And Newcastle are sitting third in the Premier League, and deservedly so.
Somehow. But we'll take it. I obviously watch it from a different perspective. In my opinion, I would completely change the midfield three and a complete change of formation within that, in my opinion. I would go to a 4-2-3-1 and I would play Bruno and Tonali beside each other with Alexander Isak just off in the 10, and then play Gordon wide, Harvey Barnes wide, and put that into Asula up front. And I would go that road. Because I think Isak's better when he drops in the 10. It happened at the weekend. And unfortunately, we conceded from it with that pass from Sean Longstaff trying to go one touch into his feet. I think he's better when he plays in between lines versus with a back to goal. He's not that type of centre forward. He's not that type of player. But overall, yeah, we started well for the first 15, 20 minutes. It was like a rinse and repeat. Then we'll just drop off. We didn't get a goal. We hit the post. Murphy should do better with his chance. You can always, I always say to my players, you can never miss on the ground. Why did he have to go low? You can't miss underneath the goal. Why did he have to go high? But granted, it's on his left foot. He's got pressure, but that's the quality of the player. You've got to have them moments where you've got to score them opportunities when they arise. But again, if it goes 2-0 up, we'll not become making the substitutions that we did at half time. So, which is a master. I was screaming at the TV to get Longstaff off, get Joe Linton off, bring Tonali on, and bring just a bit of no Paul, no Willock. I think he's still in a recovery in terms of his injury, so that's just my opinion. But he gives us energy, gives us speed. But yeah, it was just one of those ones where we fell into the trap of what Wolves wanted the game to go like in terms of their overloaded midfields. We've got three, and they're so flat, it's unreal. And that's how the goal came about. I watched it back a little bit where they're all pretty much on the top of the 18-yard box, and you've got about 40 yards of space between our back four and them. Well, anybody with one pass and who can pass the ball 10 yards can break that midfield. And then Bruno finally figured it out. Just drop off when we were pressing the ball. I actually seen him do it. He just all of a sudden it clicked just for him to drop in. But if he's already there, you don't have to think about it. And if you've got two there, then you don't even have to worry about it even more. And when we've got depth, we've got a bit of height if you play 4-2-3-1. So yeah, but at the end of the day, top three, unbeaten, only conceded, like George said, I didn't know that stat, 3 goals. Not scoring for fun, but we're getting results. And like you said, Steve, that's what it's all about, getting results, especially away from home in the Premier League. Because nobody fancies coming to St James's Park and playing us at home, especially when we're on song. And agreeing with George again and Barry, whoever said it, one team's going to get absolutely smashed at some point. We just have to be patient enough when that's going to happen, because I can see it clicking here soon. He's just got to figure out these little blue chip players, where to put them and put them in the right areas. And I think somebody's going to get, again, as a just phrase, slacking, absolutely whacking. Somebody's going to get absolutely pumped. And hopefully it's Fulham this weekend. If not, Man City will take them on. Why not have a crack at them and see what they're all about?
Do you think half the problem, Kev, is that Newcastle last season were banging goals in for fun, and if, as you just mentioned there, we were leaking them at the back, and the 2 years previous to that, the foundations of the success that we had, i.e., escaping relegation and then qualifying for Europe and getting to a cup final, were based on having a tight unit at the back and a defence.
Yep.
We put a lot of the goals being conceded last season down to the injury list, quite rightly, and the fact that obviously we lost Nick Pope in goal. But maybe people enjoyed the exciting, the goals aplenty last year, and Isaac, scoring 20 plus goals, and Gordon finally, realising his talent. This year, have we changed anything tactically? Because we've now got more players to play. So what's he doing differently? What are you seeing that we maybe are missing as supporters? What is he doing differently? Is it the fullbacks? Are the fullbacks being asked to do something different? Are they operating more as wing backs? There's something that's not quite clicking, which you can't really put a finger on.
He's went to go in with this inverted fullback. He's went to go in to do that. With Tino Livramento was doing it all the first half of the time that he was on the pitch to overload the midfield. Now, if you do that with a good ball playing midfielder fullback, we'll have that debate a couple of weeks ago. Where is he actually playing? And Lewis Hall does the same thing on that side. Then we're overloading it. But when we lose the ball, I think I've seen it when we've dropped into a 5 at times. We've dropped in as a 4, then we've dropped into a 4 in midfield, then we've just left that Isaac up front by himself. So I think there's multi systems at play when the opposition have the ball in certain transitional moments of the game when the ball's transferred over, and we'll have different ways in how we set up in different moments of the game. For me, so that again, I don't know because we'll get off to a relatively good start, and within 20 minutes or something like that, then we'll just retract and we'll just drop in and we'll play a mid block, and then we'll try and figure it out from there, and then give too much respect to the other side. We can't play this, in my opinion. Yes, we want to see it. There's high press, high energy for 90 minutes. That's unattainable in terms of physical outputs, in terms of fitness levels, in terms of the injury record that we had, and that was proven last year. Because if you're flying all over the place, there's going to be possible more injury, all that stuff. But I think Eddie's just stuck in a rock and a hard place, because I think he wants to change the shape, but he's just now getting the players back that where he wants to play. And I think the 4-3-3 is being found out. That's why he's putting in a right fullback in the midfield when we have the ball on the left side. That's why the balls are from Lewis Hall are coming inside or from out in, and then we can break a line through the pass. So through into Isaac, into whoever's in there, into Bruno, whoever, Joe Linton, within that midfield 3. But I think he needs to change that midfield 3 around, because too flat, there's no depth whatsoever. So that's the problem. We're trying to high press, but then we're trying to drop off at the same time, and everybody's in the middle. So I don't know what it is. For me, what I would do is I would just change the shape slightly and just have more depth in that midfield.
Good stuff. Okay, Ian, let's come to you, mate. First of all, how are you? Because you've been through a hell of a shellacking yourself.
I have, yeah. Well, I'm a lot better than I was sat at that dining table.
Yeah, we did hear you. People thought they were watching an episode of The Water Margin at that point when you went in there blank, and then they just heard, "Wah!"
Yeah, that wasn't pleasant. So I just took a large swig of morphine and come and sat on the settee.
Can you give some to Isaac?
I might make more sense than I usually do, but I'm not in as much pain now. Thought that hurt that. Like, I won't be sitting down like that again for a while.
I'm glad you're all right. I'm glad you're all right, mate. So anyway, you're on the mend. You're back home. That's the main thing.
I've been bored shitless all week, and I'm not frigging missing this. It's the only thing I had to look forward to. Emily's been out. Emily's been out shopping. She's been to her auntie and uncle's. I've been sat on this frigging settee or lying in bed for the last week, 2 weeks nearly. Anyhow, I'm all right, mate. I'm all right.
All right. Okay, good stuff. So give us your views on the match yesterday, mate.
First 20 minutes, I thought we looked like the team of old. I thought we came out and we were even 20, 22 minutes, whatever it was, we looked good. Just like it's just been the same thing most matches. We just look like we come out firing, with an intention that it looks like we're coming out to try and score an early goal. And then, because once we score a goal, generally, we're a very hard team to play against, especially to teams like Wolves and the you know. But then they just look like they ran out of ideas, and I think I don't want to keep going on about Joe Linton because I absolutely love Joe Linton, but he just looks like there's something not right with him. I think he didn't get a foul given to him, which he should have done. I'm pretty sure. And he looked like a petulant kid, like chucking his toys out of the pram, and then he completely lost his cool.
Yeah.
And after that, it was like he wasn't interested in kicking the football. He was just interested in kicking any other thing on the pitch, and like including the ref, and he just lost the plot completely, and he wasn't great from the start, to be honest. But I could go through the whole team and critique them now, and there's a few that I think did really well.
Did you see when Joe Linton got booked? The player who went to him telling him to calm down was Sean Murphy, not Bruno.
Say it again, sorry, mate.
You know Joe Linton got booked?
Yeah.
Sean Murphy ran to him and said, "You need to use your noggin to settle down."
Yeah, I didn't see that actually, mate.
Bruno should be doing that. He's not doing it. That's why he's not leading on the pitch.
I didn't see it. It might have been on the telly, but I didn't notice it. But obviously, you see a lot more. Yeah. It was just. I just felt there's a few players. I think. All right, Gordon, for me, has been pretty shite this season up to now. Gordon, I thought played better. I thought he was unlucky not to get a goal. I thought he looked a yard quicker. He still looks short of a yard from where he was last season, but he did look a yard quicker. He looked more on it. Bruno's lacking something. I don't know. He's not the Bruno that we had. But if you remember, he did go through this spell last season as well, where he wasn't at his best, and he will find a way because his quality. I'm really trying hard not to start picking on people, but Murphy should be nowhere near that first 11. He really shouldn't. It's unfair on him.
Not being honest.
I feel like I love Murphy, but he's not he's not got the quality that Harvey Barnes has. Barnes, for me, has been the best left winger we've got this season. And you could quite easily put Gordon on the right-hand side, and Gordon will do a job. Gordon will run at people all day, especially when he gets his fitness back on the right-hand side. And Gordon might not be able to cut in and take that shot on his right foot like he can when he's on the left. But I tell you what, Gordon's not been doing that anyway. Harvey Barnes has, and he scores a worldie like that. If you actually put that up against the replay of the 95 goal or whatever it was, where you seen Les Ferdinand was just ducking under looking for the rebound and it just goes in. Harvey Barnes' shot was better than that. It was on a postage stamp. It came from a good yard outside and curled in. It was brilliant. I don't want to speak about Longstaff too much, but he couldn't pass wind at the moment. The pass for them to get their first goal was atrocious. We're playing against teams that are decent. These are good football teams. They're going to, he left the whole team completely wide open. They could run straight through the middle of us. And there's a player with so much more quality sat on the bench who's just played 180 minutes for Italy and been man of the match in the second game. Looks fit as a fiddle to me. Didn't even have his best game when he came on, but he came on, he calmed things down. Trippier came on to calm things down. Straight away when I seen, and I don't know, yous were there, you might have seen it better. But all I was saying to Emily is like, look, he's pointing at Willock, he's telling Willock where to go. He came on and he was pointing, he was getting everybody in position, Trippier, the same, the control things, they've just got something. They've got that in-game management, that knowledge, and he's only a kid still, So for me, I'll love having Murphy on the bench as a bench player, and I think he'll bring something as an impact player off the bench. Sean Longstaff, the same thing. But he is now a bench player for me. He should be nowhere near the first team in Premier League games if we've got another option that's as fit as him. He shouldn't be there, and it's horrible to say, but that's the way it is.
No, and I mean it's about opinions. That's what we do this show for. We don't do it straight after the game like some people do. We give you a bit of time. You've usually got 24 hours, sometimes 48 hours to get have a rational discussion about it. And I think we all have different opinions. Never going to agree on things, but I think a lot of the things from yesterday's game were obvious, and I think that's I think ultimately Newcastle winning games is all that matters. I said that prior to the game. You want to see Newcastle play better, but at the same time, if this is the way it's going to be, if we go the full season and, dare I say it, finish in a Champions League position and win a trophy, and we'll play football like this, are we going to be disappointed? Are we going to be sitting on this panel absolutely gutted because we didn't play swashbuckling entertainer style football, yet we've won a trophy for the first time since 1955?
I will be because my blood pressure's already fucked. If we keep playing like this all season, I'll be dead.
But I get the feeling that some people actually will be sitting disappointed because we haven't done it in a particular way. And it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest to hear people saying, it was good, the game was crap. The game was crap. It's nice to have a trophy in the cabinet, but the game was crap. That's what we're going to get.
Are we becoming like the West Ham? Where West Ham we have to play the West Ham way and all that. You know what I mean?
But it almost feels like that. But the only time we've ever played that kind of football, really, that in my years, is obviously the entertainers. Bobby Robson came close, of course. Not quite the entertainers, but some bloody good matches and some great entertaining football. I dare say in the Championship, probably Chris Hughton's team came very close to it in my time. But you probably got to go back to George's days in the 50s with the FA Cup team to compete with, and they won trophies. So, but it's just the way I feel. All right, good stuff. On to you, Pablo. Give us your views on the game. You've been backwards and forwards with a lot of messages in our Facebook group, Facebook Messenger group over the weekend. You've got plenty to say tonight. Go on, give us your opinion.
Jesus, mate, we could go on for days. Right, where do we start? Let's go positive. Leading up to the game, I've said that Eddie Howe's looked, crestfallen recently, and reading and watching a few of his kind of videos leading up to it, I thought, maybe we've got the old Eddie back. So I was kind of hoping for a squashbuckling start. We did for 20 minutes, but then we're Jekyll and Hyde constantly for these 4 games. Now, in my view, we've not played anyone yet that really we should not be beating. So even we're 4 games in and the jury's still out. Sorry, I'm just looking at it laughing. It's put me off. But we've used kind of, to paper over the cracks, we've used excuses like shape. We've used players not being fit. We're now 4 games in. We're a month into the Premier League season, plus a pre-season that they've already had. So I think we can kind of put that one by the wayside now. So for the players that are underperforming, for me, it's not a fitness issue now. It's a them issue. So then if we look at the kind of guys that you guys were talking about, Joel Linton, I don't know what the hell's up with him. I pointed out in the group chat when I saw Wolves' midfield, I thought, hey up. Now, for us as a Newcastle fan base, our midfield's probably one of our strongest kind of assets with the players we've got when they're all firing. And the midfield did get completely overawed. One thing I can't stand, and I mentioned it in the group chat, is we lose the ball and all of a sudden we're trotting around and we're jogging back and we just look half-assed. Now, when your team's not playing well, like I said in the chat, the very non-negotiable that you can have is the fact that everyone runs around like headless chickens in case one bounces off Callum Wilson's tip or something like that, and then you strike a bit of luck and then you build momentum. But for me, we're not even doing that. Yes, we've come away with a 2-1 win. To come back from 1-0 down in any game of football and get a win, absolutely fantastic. And we've done it for the past 4. The worry for me is that when these next 4 games come along, we've been riding our luck seriously. Gordon looked like he was kind of putting it in again. a few decent runs here and there. The changes at half time, fair play to Eddie, took it by the scruff of the neck, made the changes when they needed to be changed. Sean Longstaff, I've said it a million times before, for me, is a championship player, nothing more. I mean, could you see another Premier League team buying Longstaff? I mean, albeit Ipswich, would he get into anybody else's midfield? I don't think he would. We've got to get rid of players like that, and they will be phased out eventually. I mean, the worst thing I did was slate Fabian Schär in our chat because in 10 minutes later he's sticking a worldie in top corner. So if that's what it's going to take every week for me to
doing it.
Yeah, exactly. I'll do it every week as long as he whacks one in top corner, and that could be my aim. But on the whole, mate, chuffed. I know I sound like I'm not chuffed, but I am. But we look at the game closer than a result, and we're not seeing what we expect, what we have been delivered. We know something's not right, but none of us here on this panel can put our finger on it, which is the beauty of this chat, I guess. But on the whole, buzzing, mate. 10 points, rock and roll.
Okay, Spenny, over to you, mate. You've grown some hair. You've since then. Beard next. Yeah. Go on, mate. Give us your views on yesterday's game.
Oh, lads, cheer up, man. We won. We're third in the league. Oh, we play like that every game. I don't care as long as you win.
Yeah.
Man of the match for me, Nick Pope. Nick Pope again. Last 15 games, you pick post playing in goal for Newcastle. We've won 10 of them. And that's yours as well. He's so key for this season for me, Nick Pope. That's who we rely on. It's fair enough, he can't kick a ball. Doesn't matter.
Can't catch it either.
He saves them. He saves them. That's all that matters.
Be negative.
He's the best,
Sorry, yeah.
probably the best keeper we had since Chair Given. There you go.
Yeah.
No, without a doubt.
No.
I agree with Steve. I want Lewis Hall had a good game as well. Bruno, I think, was marked out the match again. Yeah, maybe he's had his international break, took its toll again. I'm just making excuses up for him, maybe. Harvey Barnes again, on his right leg, straight in the top corner. Why can't he play right wing if he can use his right leg then? Obviously, I was strange about the team that was made before the match. I was a bit annoyed, to be honest. I can't understand why Tonali's been dropped again. And I can't understand why Barnes isn't playing regularly. The only time you're going to get gel with Gordon is playing Harvey Barnes and Gordon all the time. I think Gordon was his best game of the season, to be honest, the way he was playing down the left wing. But what annoyed me about that game, Steve, is everything got played along the left. There was never went to the right hardlies. It just gets played to Gordon all that left all the time. And I think we'll get caught out, to be honest. We'll play better, probably play better, and we'll get beat against Man City. So, I'm over the moon. Third in the league, could go top of the weekend. I always remember me mate, I texted him yesterday. I said, remember the last time we nearly won the league? The first 10 games of them games were crap. We were playing crap.
Yeah, good points. Well made. Denise Applewhite says, does anyone think there might be mileage in Bunch joining and the work he's doing with the players that might be taking time to take an effect, so it's altering their usual performance? It's a possibility, Denise. We don't know what goes on behind closed doors, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely a good point. It's one I think the lads made on the Amigos a couple of Fridays ago. Yeah. That maybe that's the situation, and maybe that's the reason that, say, Callum Wilson has been told he's got to rest and recuperate a little bit longer. That's what Bunce was brought in for. If it's going to stop more long-term injuries, then I guess they've got to listen to him. Certainly, Eddie Howe hasn't dismissed him. He's praised him. I've heard him praise him at a press conference. So there we go. Mark, valid point. We said this at the match yesterday. Stop giving Pope the ball at his feet. There's your answer. Pope's way better than Given. Way better than Given. He was scared of crosses. I think two things with the keeper, Mark. you're right. I think we're constantly playing the ball back to him. He must be going mental, every time it comes back. But I do think as well, his shoulder operation, there's been an issue with his shoulder, of course, and I think it's in his mind. I think that'll only come with games and time coming out. But I thought yesterday he came out and claimed the ball a couple of times, and I do think that there's been an improvement. Okay, I've got about 7-8 minutes left because I've got to play the ads at the end tonight. Pablo's moved to the end. Spenny's moved upstairs. And I was going to go with Spenny first, but I mean, Spenny's not going to go last. It'll be George. So, Pablo, we'll come to you first. Just the question that was asked before, which was on Twitter, actually, from a guy called Brian Liddon Oxnard. He says, question for the night, is it not better to play Asula up front instead of Gordon? That was the question I asked before. Would you like to see Asula getting a run out if, for example, we don't have Isaac to play?
Do you know what? I was actually going to say that at the end of my piece, so I'm glad you've asked that. Absolutely, yes. And also the way he hasn't been given a chance at the minute, and certainly somebody pointed that out. You've got a ready-made striker there, and he prefers to play Gordon. I mean, what is that doing for the young lad's confidence coming into a club? And he's seeing other players being pushed into his ready-made position, because we haven't got an abundance of them, have we? I think for his confidence, that'd give him a real kick in the kidneys, that one. For me, I'd give the lad a chance. Hell, why not? It's not as if we've got a wealth of talent waiting to come on. Callum Wilson's still nursing his nipple. Isaac's now nursing his eyebrow. So for me, in a short answer, yes, I would. I'd give the lad a bash. Why not? It's been done before, hasn't it? And before you know it, you're rocking and rolling. That lad gets a goal or two in a game. Confidence is sky high, goes into the next game. We've seen loads of players over the years that have had that one chance and taken it. So for me, the answer is yes, give him a bash.
I mean, Ian, if you're fit enough to be on the bench, you're fit enough to play. I saw somebody in the chat before saying, well, why do people keep asking this question when there's a new player comes in? It's because he's not Eddie Howe fit, but he's on the bench. So
I think with him, it's probably not as much fitness, because he has had quite a bit of time with Eddie now to get his fitness up. I think it's more like the Hall issue. It's more of a trust thing. I think the person who plays at the top for us is pivotal for the press. They instigate every time we press. They're the person that instigates it, and everyone has to go with them. The only reason I couldn't see for him getting on this season is more tactical than physical for me. I might be completely wrong, but that's sort of in my head. And
yeah,
like everyone was screaming for Hall, weren't they? Like me the most last season, and he didn't play him until he felt like he'd got it. And even now, I don't think he truly thinks that Hall's got it. And I'll be honest, probably don't think so myself. But he's been great, So I think it's more that. But personally, I quite like what Kev said, and I was saying yesterday, to go into that 4-2-3-1 and play Isak. That's where he was playing for his country, and he scored 2 goals and should have been an hat-trick. He gave the other kid a penalty, didn't he, so he could get his first goal. He's that confident of a striker. He doesn't even want an hat-trick. He's giving it away to his teammates. So I could see them playing well together, but he's going to have to give him time at some point, or else why are we spending 10, 15, whatever million it is on him? The kid's got to get game time. And when I've seen him in the few games that I've seen him, I thought he looked all right. But he looked sharp.
The lad from Wolves,
strong.
the lad from Wolves up front. This is another annoying thing. I mean, he's only on loan, that fella, and he looked a bit of an handful, didn't he? And just
wasn't good enough against us.
Say again.
Wasn't good enough against us. He never scored.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep that in and go run away.
Kev, I mean, Steelers on the bench. I mean, do you think, somebody saying, yeah, I laugh when I'm hearing people try to second guess Eddie, but at the end of the day, it's an opinions. That's all we're having. We're just sharing our opinions. I would like to have seen Asula come on. I'm dying to see him, especially after that brief, appearance in the friendly.
Would agree, and I'll take it a little further. When Isak's isolated and we ping a ball 50 yards and he's standing there looking over his head and trying, and not even attempting. Not that he's not going to attempt to do stuff, but at the same time, that's not his game. He's not a back to goal type of centre forward, in my opinion. He's one that's on the run, giving the ball in space, and he can dribble at players. Asula looks like a younger version of a Callum Wilson, or a bit of both, where he's got a bit of speed. He looks like a big lad. We haven't seen him, so just from pictures and videos that you see,
He's a lump.
and then if you send the ball along, if it gets there, because of the out ball's pretty terrible half the time, because we give the ball away all the time, but nobody's winning it. It's just coming back. So if we get somebody up there who can hold the ball up and bring players into play, Isaac can do it to a certain point, but he's not that rounded as a big number 9. He likes to play off or play wide and drift and float. So if you've got somebody there is a true 9 and can hold the ball up, be powerful, again, initiate the press like Ian said, and help Gordon, have Barnes flying in and just Isaac just coming in behind him, that's not a bad front four of them types of players. So yeah, I would give him a bash. Yeah, why not?
Okay, Darren. Just to remind people, we've asked a question by a viewer. We aren't criticising Eddie Howe, saying that he should have put him on. We're just asking, would you have put him on? Would people give him a chance? Would you give him a chance, Darren Asula? Would you like to have seen him have a run out yesterday?
Yes, definitely from me. I was desperate to see him coming because I wanted him off the pitch. So I would have them on yesterday. Yeah, because when he seen the first 3, Stoke was still getting beat. I thought he would have brought him on like 10 minutes later on, perhaps. Just he didn't. I'm surprised. But if they're Barnes and score that screamer with 8 minutes to go, I'm thinking he may have come on last 5 minutes. That's how it does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But he needs. I don't think he'll play on Saturday, but I do think he'll play against Wilburn in the League Cup.
Yeah, good shout.
Tuesday.
Yeah, good shout. Okay, Spenny, would you like to see Asula at some point, like in time? I mean, it's not a criticism, as I say, of how yesterday we won the game. I'm delighted, but it just seemed a bit strange, and I get where Pablo's coming from when he says it can affect the player's confidence, I guess. But he didn't look sad in the team photograph in the dressing room.
I wouldn't mind seeing a young one. He probably played the cup, like Darren's already said. He's not Eddie Howe up and ready yet, is he? So he's only got him put him on the bench because he's got another striker to put there.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed in George tonight, mine. He never mentioned Joe Wilkes throw in after Tyndall got booked. You should see that. That's unbelievable, that.
Well, that's good. He hasn't mentioned that. He hasn't mentioned Darren Eales, and I've only got 5 minutes to go. So right. I'm hoping we can get through.
He's still at KFC trying to get a delivery, isn't he?
Got a couple of minutes there, Barry. Just your opinion on Sula?
It's a hard one, isn't it? I mean, I know the comments that are going in the chat. I think we've got to trust that Eddie knows what the players much better than we do. I agree. I would like to see him, but I'm guessing there's a reason why. Like Darren's just said, he'd probably play him in the Wimbledon game. There must be some reason why he's not sticking him straight in. I mean, we mentioned this shirt, and I can remember the same with Kitson, Steve. When Keegan signed Paul Kitson, there was games where it seemed to be crying out for him to come on as a sub, and he left it for ages before he actually gave him a few games. But you trust in Eddie, don't you? And you just hope that he knows why he's not taking a risk on him at the minute.
How many games did Alvarez miss for Man City? A lot. They came on all the subs.
George, just got time to squeeze you in. I've got to shoot off and do a pre-record. So just if you want to shoot, would you like to see you shoot rather than later?
Yes, of course. Yes, Eddie's the manager, I know. But it does not make sense to me that you take your best wide players off, out of position, when you've got a ready-made centre-forward sitting on the bench. That doesn't have any logic to me. And I don't take this business about being Eddie ready or oven ready or whatever. He's been here long enough for the management to know what he's like. And he should at least...
You're not getting the Christmas card.
On the pitch he should at least get on the pitch when the opportunity arises.
He's always done it, though, George. Eddie Howe's always done it. He didn't rush them in.
It just seems, it upset the balance of the team in my view, and he could have got away with having Osuna on to avoid that. And the other thing is the kids just had a great international break as well. So, none of it makes sense entirely to me. But then I'm not anyhow. That's why
is it Darren Hales' fault, George?
Right, okay, thanks very much for the
Darren
thanks for Pablo, thanks to Ian, thanks to Kevin, to Darren, to Spenny, to Barry, and to you for watching. If you're watching on Twitter, jump over onto YouTube, search NUFC Matters, hit the subscribe button. We do 7 shows a week. Back tomorrow night with the Joe Allen Show. Look forward to seeing you then. Take care.
Cheers, boys.
See you later, guys.
A big thanks to all our sponsors, Skips and Bins. You can find them at skipsandbins.com. Contact them, www.skipsandbins.com/contact. Say hello to low-cost waste disposal with pay-as-you-go and contract waste management. A big thanks to Mr. Vicky's Sauces, handmade in Cumbria. Their website, mrvickies.co.uk. Telephone 01768 210 102 or email info@mrvickies.co.uk. Thanks to our NUFC Matters fanzine sponsor, United Group Travel. Travel and Tourism Award winners 2024. There are no strangers on our tours, just friends you haven't met yet. All excursions included, 3-star plus quality hotels, no interchanges, a 2-crew driver and courier. It's a local family company, and you can find them at www.unitedgrouptravel.com or telephone 01670 632 460 or mobile 0791 666 4174. Big thanks to Media Arts for all the help with the technical side of things. And if you want to help support the channel, hit the subscribe button. We do 7 shows a week. Hit the thumb up under the video. That's the like button. It does help us grow. And click the share button. Help share to your social media. If you want to join the channel for as little as $1.99 a month, then hit the join button under this video today. We also help the food bank on this channel. Visit nufcfansfoodbank.co.uk. It takes you to the matchday bucket where you can donate some money virtually. Some events for your diary in aid of Dementia Matters. The Long Sands will be reforming and be supported by Lilac Lane and the Chris Norris Band at the Cluny in Newcastle on Saturday, January the 4th, 2025. Tickets are £15 pre-sale from newcastlelegends.com. An evening with Peter Beardsley takes place at the Tyneside Irish Centre on the 10th of January 2025. Tickets available from newcastlelegends.com or from Woucher. And an evening with the Entertainers takes place on the 24th of January 2025. Telephone the box office 0844 249 1000 or visit the website tynetheatreandoperahouse.uk. And the Magpie Lounge at Gateshead Leisure Centre is now open. 7 talk-ins for £99. Joe Allen will be hosting talk-ins with Lee Clark, John Anderson, Steve Howie, Darren Peacock, Supermac, Steve Watson, John Beresford, all between the dates of January and July. £99 for 7 talk-ins, newcastlelegends.com. And don't forget, you can subscribe to our NUFC Matters fanzine, £20 for 4 issues with all proceeds going to Dementia Matters. If you live overseas, it is £50 for 4 issues. To order now, go to newcastlelegends.com.